Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Fight Room for a little preview show for Sebastian Fundora and Keith Thurman. I wanted to make a video about this, but I didn't have time in the end. I've got so much going on at the minute. I'm moving house and all kinds of other stuff going on. And yeah, I just didn't have time to sit down and actually make the video in a way that I would have been like pleased with. So I thought better to do this as a chat. And I'm going to wait till we've got a few people on before I start, but I just want to run through it basically. I've not covered every angle, so we'll assess some of it on the stream live. And we will but I did do some studying for it, is what I'm trying to say. I just didn't get time to actually make the video, so I can at least talk to you about my observations on a very basic level. And yeah, see how it goes. I don't know if my YouTube chat thing is fixed or not, which is really annoying because I can see someone's commenting, but it's not coming through on my thing, which is really not great. Why is it doing that? I want to be able to highlight comments during the stream, and I broke it recently. I was being stupid on a different computer, and it affected it on this one. But good morning to everyone who's on at the minute. Tank call forever unboxing. I don't know, like right, I'm going to try and fix this YouTube chat thing because this is not working. Yeah, let me try and fix this to start the stream, and then I'll give me some time to let people get in first as well before we get going. What does this one do? If you send some messages, guys, let me see if this works, what I've just done. Yeah, there we go, because I've got it like that. But I don't really like that very much. I'd rather that was, I want that as a single comment, so let's try again. Here we go. This is the one I want. Is that the one I want? Yeah, I think it is. Okay. Right, let's try that. And I'll see if that has fixed it. Because we're going to need this for the stream tomorrow anyway, so we might as well get this done now. Well, the streams, plural tomorrow, I should say. Hopefully by then my back is fixed as well. I've had a terrible neck the last few days. Part of the aging process, I suppose. Is that going to work? Oh, do you know what? It's this thing that's not working. I need to re-add the dock. Okay. I might have to do this later because I don't want to be faffing with you guys. I know it's annoying. How's everyone going? Josh Byfield in the chat, big up, mate. We've got Lozzie Longshanks as well, the casual experts. Limazik says they love my channel. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Do appreciate it. I'm going to let the views get up a bit more. I know that this is not right. Right. No, this will fix it. Okay. This will fix it. Yeah. Okay, hang on. Right, now. Now, let's see if that's worked. Yes, there we go. There we go. Right. It's a different style from what we had before, but maybe we'll just change that because I don't love that style. And then we will talk properly because this is rubbish. I thought that would look cool, but it doesn't. Is that going to work? Watching my channels and education, I feel like I'm bloody the worst teacher in the world right now. I'm sitting here faffing about with these comments. That didn't work. I'm sorry, guys. I just want to get this right because I'm going to need this tomorrow as well. So we might as well get it right now. There we go. Right, we're on. I'm sorry, people. That was ridiculous. Anyway. Benishan, watching Henry's channels and education. Yeah, and education in how to mess up your tech. Anyway, we're there. We're there in the end. But get your questions in the chat, people, and we'll work our way through them. I think the best way to start, how many people we got on right now? About 30. Expecting a few more from the poll. But to start, I'll just give you my thoughts on Thurman Fundora, and then you can sort of ask me questions and we'll work with it. But basically, I had a look at the fighters. I watched some of I actually did a technical breakdown on Keith Thurman's comeback against Brock Jarvis. I've never actually done a full breakdown on Fundora before. I've obviously watched him, but I've never like sat down and properly studied him. So I did do a little bit. And yeah, this is it's a really interesting fight to me, to be honest, in terms of who's going to win, because whilst Fundora is obviously a lot younger and fresher than Keith Thurman, he's obviously naturally way bigger than Keith Thurman. I feel like it's a bit of a joke that he's fighting at 154 with his frame, and I don't know if he's got the best punch resistance. I think it was the Mendoza knockout that I watched. I mean, obviously he held the punch as well of Tim Tszyu, and it was a beautiful shot from Mendoza. Yeah, Brian Mendoza KO'd him in the 7th round of their fight. I think, though, when I look at the attributes of the guy, Mendoza, that beat him, and I look at the wins he's had, like, that was a tough one for him. Stylistically, I feel that Keith Thurman is probably a better version of Mendoza in many ways. And I think that Keith's legs and Keith's ability to go up and down with those sort of looping shots will cause Fundora a lot of problems. Keith has got great, he had great legs, and even against Jarvis, you could see the legs were still there. I guess what this comes down to for me is it's sort of stylistically and technically who I think is better suited to win this fight versus just freshness and physicality and punch output and all that stuff. And I just wonder, I think Thurman is not a 154 fighter, but does he punch hard enough to hurt Fundora when he gets in the right moments? I think he probably does, but will those moments happen often enough? He's going to have to go through the fire. He's going to have to go through the fire to get to him, as everybody does, because he is so long, he will hit you with shots. And my concern is that whilst Thurman, I think a fresh Thurman would have got through that fire, would have made the right adjustments, would have landed the big punches. That my concern is on the way to that, Fundora will just hit him a bit too much. I think Fundora will know that Thurman's probably the best guy he's faced from pure boxing sense. But they've both wanted this fight, right? I think Thurman's been keen on this fight because I think he actually fancies it. I think he's probably seen what Mendoza did to Fundora and thought, yeah, I could definitely do that. Like, that's me. That's how I box. But yeah, I think that Fundora will fancy it because Thurman's so much older and he's obviously going to be the biggest name on his record if he gets the win. So it works well for both of them. And I just feel like Thurman will feel like he can hurt him based on that the Mendoza knockout. So I didn't realize that Lubin dropped him as well. I haven't done like a full deep dive on this, but that's good knowledge. And Lubin's not a massive puncher. So yeah, it's really interesting. It's really interesting. I genuinely think it could go either way, but I probably would edge towards Fundora just on freshness and physicality. I mean, that means a lot in sport. You know, it counts for a lot in boxing. And if it was at 147, if they were 147 fighters, I'd probably feel a bit more confident in picking Thurman. But, oh God, sorry guys, my neck is screwed. But because it's at 154 and Thurman's not really that well versed in that weight division, I don't think Jarvis is a good enough preparation for a world champion. Yeah, I don't quite think he's quite gonna get it done. But yeah, I will go live for it probably. So yeah, I mean, I'm planning to. As I say, I'm moving house at the minute. Everything's a bit chaotic. I've got to literally go back to the UK for like 2 weeks. And then hopefully we'll have raised enough for Japan. And I'll be able to go to Japan on the way back from the UK. That's the plan anyway. So yeah. But guys, if you do want to donate to the Japan doc, the GoFundMe is in the pinned comment in the description and in a QR code on screen. I think probably most people on here will have donated already, to be fair. There's about 30 of you. 45 of you now. And we've done I think there's been about 80 or something donations so far, which is absolutely epic. I remember I ran a poll and there was a few hundred people that were interested in supporting originally. So I'm hoping if we hit that number, then we might well be going. So yeah, we'll just see if we can get it done. And if not, then, you know, we tried. But yeah, guys, but get your comments in the chat. I'll read through and see what questions are interesting to talk about. I suppose that the other thing to discuss really is the mental with the two of them. I think that Thurman obviously retired from boxing a while ago, and he was having a lot of injury. But I think that may have been down to injury problems more than anything else. I suppose my biggest thing with Thurman is he keeps trying to get this fight. I think he's going to feel confident, but equally, if it gets really hard in there, which it can do with Fundora, he's got a very high punch output. You worry that he might just kind of go, do I really want this still? He's definitely going to find out in this fight if he wants it still. Oops. So yeah, just the nature of Fundora. All right, let's have a look. So, Warrior Way says, I thought Fundora was beating Mendoza well until he got caught and Fundora uses his reach more now. Yeah, but I take your point, but I feel like I thought Mendoza went to the body well in that fight. Well, if you go and watch the Tim Tszyu fights as well, obviously he got hit a lot in those fights too. And I'm more considering that Thurman's better than both of them, or was better than both of them. And I think he punches hard enough. So, yeah. And also, like, if you get knocked out like that, what happened before that, in my mind, is kind of irrelevant because it was a really, really bad knockout. Yeah, he took it clean on the chin. It was a bad one. Josh says, decent fight, not one I'm going to watch, or not for 20 quid. Yeah, I mean, that's fair, mate. That's fair. I'm sure you can be resourceful and find other ways of watching it if you want to. What do you reckon Fundora is walking around at in the ring? I've read he's 180. It's a lot for 154. Yeah, I know, this is it, mate. Like, his frame's massive and he obviously weight drains himself down. At the same time, he's one of the skinniest guys I've ever seen in a boxing ring. He's so skinny. So, yeah, you just sort of wonder if he's got the punch resistance. Mate, Hrgovic, we'll definitely talk about that in a minute. I do have some early thoughts. Michael Lynch says, hi, Henry and hi all, tuned in at work. We'll be donating to your Japan trip soon, but appreciate it, bro. Thank you very much. Yeah, we just want to get there, man. We want to get there. I've got great plans. I've got great plans for it. Let's hope we can make it happen. Anyway, do you think Fundora has gotten better with his jab and distance, or is his last fight a fluke? He did a good job. I mean, it's hard to say with Tim Tszyu because I don't think Tim Tszyu has got as much left as he once did. And Fundora knew what to do with him because he'd been in there with him already. And I think Tim Tszyu's a bit flat-footed himself. Definitely makes it easy to keep him on the end of a jab. It's not that easy against Keith Thurman. He's got much better lateral movement. He's got much better at setting up angles. And I just feel like the way that Thurman can make small movements to make an angle to enter the pocket, Fundora's quite straight. He comes in quite straight lines, and his hand positioning is loose, I'd say. I could see Thurman catching him over the top with shots, to the body with shots. His body's very exposed. I think Thurman will invest in the body early for sure. To your point, I think someone said before about his weight cut. It's kind of crazy, his weight cut. So yeah, I'm going to move this down. It just looks weird. There we go. So yeah. How old is Thurman? Late 30s. What does he actually weigh? Let me have a look. Doesn't say on his box rack. I'm a big Keith Thurman fan, though. I like him. 37, yes, he's pretty old for a comeback. But he looked all right in that Jarvis fight. He started a bit slow, but he warmed into it, and I thought he looked good. But, I mean, how good is Jarvis? It's very difficult to say. You know, pulled out of the Australian scene. Who's the best guy Jarvis had fought before that? Oh, Liam Parrow, and he got knocked out in one round, and I don't consider Liam Parrow to be a puncher. And that was down at 140, although that had been a few years before. And he did look like a good size at 154, Brock Jarvis. So, in fact, his previous fight was at 160. So, yeah, very, very confusing. I don't know. I do not know. Oh, Cass, bro, I should have said this. I really appreciate the donation, mate. But what I should have said was, if you want to donate any money, guys, don't do it for YouTube because, for this one anyway, because YouTube take a cut. If you want to donate, please just head over to the GoFundMe link in the description or in the pinned comment. And you know, we get most of the revenue then, and it's much, much better. It goes into the pot. I don't have to go and send money from my bank account or anything like that to the pot. So yeah, just better. Yeah, if you do want to donate, people, I do really appreciate it. Lucas, do you think Fundora should move up to middleweight as there's fights with Adames? I think Adames would destroy him. I think Adames is just too good with his pressure, his head movement, all that sort of stuff. And he's strong. He's strong middleweight. So yeah, I like Adames, and I don't think that would be a good fight for Fundora. I think he should stay. I mean, yeah, he definitely he needs to fill out. That's for sure. Like if he's going to go up to middleweight, he needs to put a bit of strength on. I would worry about him getting walked down and beaten up. But at the same time, Adames is the best middleweight by a country mile at the minute, except for Janabek. But Janabek failed that ped test, so God knows what's going on with him. But I do think Adames would beat Fundora. I mean, look, I always caveat when I make these high level picks by saying that this is without me really studying properly, so you're never too sure. But yeah, I do think that he'll have enough to get it done against Thurman, even though I do think stylistically I much prefer Thurman. So yeah, it's one of them. Yeah, that's true, Slalomi. Thurman's body broke down by 29. His explosive style doesn't age well. Yeah, but he's more than just explosive. He was a good boxer as well. And if you go and watch that Jarvis fight, he definitely still had some explosiveness to his game. I know it was Jarvis, but just looking at the way he was moving and everything, he did move well. He did pick his shots quite well. I still think there's some fight in him. I don't expect Fundora to just walk him down and beat him up. I think there'll be a bit of a contest in there. But then again, there's been another year now. We don't know how his camp's gone. He may just be looking for a cash out. I worry at 37 about how he got through the camp. So yeah, that is part of the concern, I suppose. Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about Dave Allen, because someone asked about it. But was it Josh? Maybe first we'll talk about this. Boot slaughter Zayas. Okay, yeah, maybe we won't talk about that yet. But yeah, I think that is... I have to study Zayas. I haven't studied Zayas yet to make a call on that one. So I'll take your word for it. Josh has got a good boxing brain. And this is a good point by Josh as well. Thurman too inactive for me. I think Thurman is the better fighter, but he's old and inactive. To me, the only way Fundora loses is if he goes in all guns blazing like the Mendoza fight. Yeah. I mean, I still think he can be hit. I mean, even in that Sue fight, you could see he was getting caught a little bit before he got the stoppage. And the reason he's, I think Sue's so much easier to hit than Thurman is what I'm trying to say. But at this point, who knows? Where was the Dave Allen comment? Right. Let's just take this one. John Fisher Choir. Why do you think they have matched Dave Allen with Hrgovic? I really like Dave, but he stands almost no chance in this fight. Okay. So it's a really difficult fight to talk about because I also don't understand why they picked Hrgovic as his next opponent. I assume there's a large paycheck on the table for Dave. That'll be point number one because it's on a Queensbury. I think it'll be a Queensbury. Is it a Queensbury show or is it a Queensbury fighter? I think it might be a Queensbury show, but let me have a look. Let's see if they've put it on BoxRec yet. Yeah, it is. Eco Power Stadium, Doncaster. Who's the promoter? Frank Warren is the promoter. So that means that he has essentially been loaned by Matchroom because Dave is under contract with Matchroom, as I understand it. So I think that they must have just put up a load of money. They needed a fight for Hrgovic. Hrgovic has obviously been struggling to get fights. When I look at the top 10 in the division right now, and I think about Dave Allen, I think, let's say top 30. I think about Dave Allen. The fight that had been rumored was Zhile Zhang before this. And I thought to myself, I don't like that fight for Dave. I think Zhang is very dangerous. I think he punches so hard. I think you could get really, really hurt in a Zhang fight. But at the same time, if Dave gets himself, I've always said this, it's always such an if with Dave. If Dave can get himself fit, then there's no reason why he can't compete with some of those guys who gas out later, like a Zhang. But at the same time, I think at this point, you've got to kind of accept that he's probably shown the best cardio performances he will show because it's going to take years of dedication for him to be fit enough. And I don't think he's doing that. I think he's just living similarly to how he's always done based on what I'm seeing in terms of the size and all that sort of stuff. So they're obviously paying him a lot of money. Yeah, that's what I mean, Josh. Like there is a world in which Dave Allen could beat Zhang. It's not a likely one, but there is a possibility. When I look at the Hrgovic fight, I don't know how he wins because Hrgovic has got that lead hand control. He's got the feet. I don't know how Dave walks Hrgovic down, which is what he'd have to do. Hrgovic is just a really good boxer. If the Hrgovic gets in there that got in there against Adelaide, for example, then he threw a fair amount of shots in that fight. He did. He does tend to gas Hrgovic, or has done in the past, but I think he's sorted that out now to a degree anyway. He's not the biggest puncher in the world, but he will hit Dave a lot because Dave, it's just the way that Dave will have to march into range. And the other problem is, even when Dave does get into it, I'm not saying Hrgovic is like this unbelievable back foot slick boxer, but he's good enough at controlling the range. When Dave does actually get to Hrgovic in the pocket, he can hold a shot like nobody's business, Hrgovic. His chin is absolutely outrageous. I think he might have the best chin at heavyweight. The real juggernaut, the real Joe Joyce, his chin is absolutely outrageous. So Dave can't beat him on points, in my opinion. And honestly, I don't think he can chin him either. So yeah, I don't know how he beats him. Like Makhmudov, for me, Dave could have won that fight. I still think Dave could have won that fight. It was a stamina issue. It wasn't a technique issue. All the things that I saw technically before the fight stood when he actually got in there. You know, when Dave was able to let his hands go, he hit him clean. He was able to make him miss. He was able to ride out a lot of the work that Makhmudov was throwing. So I just felt that he could win that fight, and he could have. And Dave after the fight was, I'm just not good enough. But then even himself, he said, actually, no, I actually could have won that. I regret it. So yeah, but like, let's pull up the top 10 heavyweights and look at what like I would have maybe done for him instead. Ring Magazine top 10. I'll do a quick screen share on this one. So we'll just do it like that. So you've obviously got Usyk. I don't like the Usyk fight, obviously. I don't like the Wardley fight particularly. I don't like the Caballero fight. I don't like the Dubois fight. I don't like the Hrgovic fight. Zhang, I could see a world in which he could beat Zhang. Bakole, it depends what Bakole gets in the ring, but some of the versions of Bakole that have got in, Dave would have some sort of chance against. I don't like the Ituma fight. Now that I've seen a back foot game from a Jaguar, I don't fancy that. Richard Torres is very young and mobile, so I don't particularly fancy that one either. And Murat Gassiev, yeah, actually, I don't mind that one. I don't mind the Gassiev fight for him because he's much smaller naturally. So, so yeah, basically, this is probably, it's probably a case of like, you look at the top 10 and there isn't really a fight for him in there anyway. You have to go further down the rank. I don't know if there's like a top 20 ranking somewhere that we can see, but let me go on BoxRec. That's probably the best thing to do, even though their rankings are a mess. Let's go to heavyweight. So there's 20 heavyweights, 17, sorry. And when you go through this one, it's a bit different. I think he'd have a chance against Dakota. I don't rate Dakota particularly highly. Anthony Joshua at this stage, he's got a better chance against Anthony Joshua than anybody else in this list at this stage because of, you know, AJ is severely diminished. Sparred a lot of rounds with him as well in the amateurs, which I always think helps. Riatpour hits probably too hard for Dave, but also Riatpour is a natural cruiserweight, and I think that Dave would have some kind of chance in that one. These guys, no. Hooney, definitely not for me. Jalilov, I don't really know what he's about yet, but I wouldn't fancy him in that one. I've not watched Heiser. Vianello, have I watched Heiser? I might have done. Vianello, I don't fancy that one. Makhmudov, I did fancy. I thought he could beat Makhmudov, but, you know, Vianello beat Makhmudov, so they're probably ranked a bit close. I think Vianello is underrated, to be honest, as a heavyweight. I think he's quite good. Basically, yeah, you're looking at the top 30 to find guys that I would put him in with and think that he might have a chance of winning. So yeah, it's a rough road. You think Dave survives the Zhang shots? No, I don't think anyone survives the Zhang shots. Zhang's a hellacious puncher if he catches you right. His only issue is he just can't sustain the work. So yeah. But let's move on from that one. Well, we'll just say some final things about it, I suppose. Yeah, my point, the overall point is, I understood the logic behind the Zhang fight to a degree. I do not understand the logic behind a Hrgovic fight. I don't get it. Even for Hrgovic, I guess it's just because he's struggling. He just wants like an opponent with a name. Dave sells tickets, so he'll get a little bit of money from it. And yeah, Queensberry are obviously struggling to match Hrgovic because otherwise there's no reason for them to take this step down. And I just view this as I like it when he's in fights where he can potentially win. And I feel like he'll probably still think he can have a go at a British title if he loses, and he's right, he can, but he needs a win. He needs a couple wins after this again. So that's a great shout. I would have loved Allen versus White. That's a very, very good shout. That would have done well. Dylan White shot to bits. I love that shout, the casual expert. The fact I didn't think of him is because he's not even ranked in the top 30 anymore. Well, BoxRec is BoxRec, but yeah, he's obviously fallen far. But that would have made a lot of sense. He's got a name still. He's British. Yeah, that would have made a lot of sense. But I suppose, well, I don't know why White wouldn't have taken that fight, but Josh says, if Dave doesn't fight the winner of TKV versus Riatpour after this, he should retire. Yeah, I mean, but the problem is, like, can he get that fight if he's lost 2 of his last 3? at a decent level. I don't know. He's only beaten Johnny Fisher, so it's like, I don't know if that justifies a British title shot or not. They already overlooked him in the last round of orders. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we should move into other things, like the other heavyweight fights that are coming up, like Moses Ituma versus Jermaine Franklin. Now, you guys know that I've covered this fight extensively. I've done a full tactical breakdown. I've done a full prediction video. So really, just get your questions in the chat. Ask me whatever you want, and give me your thoughts, and we can have a little discussion about it before we, we call it a stream. But I mean, obviously, we've not been going that long yet. Well, how long have we been going? Half an hour. Yeah, I'll do another half an hour, and then I've got to get out of here. But also, guys, while we're waiting for some questions to come in on that, do support the Japan documentary if you can. I'd really appreciate it. The QR code's on screen. The link is in the pinned comment and the description. Let's have a look at what we're up to so far in terms of what we've raised. It's a great amount of money, but it's still a long way off what we were hoping to get. So let's see. In fact, you know what? I can actually put this up in the chat. That would be a nice idea, wouldn't it? Yeah, let's do this. So there we go. That is the Japanese boxing documentary fundraiser. That's what we're on at the minute. We have raised £2,239 of the targeted £5, which is almost half. It's a great amount of money. It really is, and I appreciate everyone who donated so much. Especially, we should give this guy a shout out. I mean, I don't know if he wants to be anonymous, but you can be anonymous if you want to be. I tried to reach out to him. I tried to track him down, but he's called Kave Sigarudinia. I think that's how you say it. Sigarudinia. Yeah, that looks right. 500 quid donation is incredible. And obviously, I appreciate every amount everyone's donated, but like just as a single amount of money, that is a huge sum of money. So thank you so much to that man. I don't know if you're watching, mate, but thank you so much. That really means a lot that you've put that much belief in me, that much trust in me to go and deliver something. But basically, that's where we're at with it all at the minute. Yeah, consider donating. It's going to be incredible if we can get it done. The stuff we're working on is huge. But yeah. All right. First Itama question. Do you reckon Moses' fight goes past 3 rounds? Mate, tell me you haven't watched my prediction without telling me you haven't watched my prediction. Moses looks big and lean, whereas Franklin seemed... Oh, that's not what I want. Whereas Franklin seemed fatter than AJ fight. I can't see him moving fast enough to avoid getting stopped early by Moses. Yeah, 100% big up Carve, Josh. So I need to see what he weighed. Oh wait, the weigh-in's been, hasn't it? Sorry, I've been asleep, so I've not seen it yet. Let me see what they weighed. Jermaine. So Jermaine Franklin weighed in at... Give me the weights. Why are they not there? Jermaine Franklin's coming fat, has he? Let's see. He's coming at 258.5. For God's sake. What? Just why? Like, why would you come in at 258.5? Part of my prediction with him was that, like, I said he needed to be like he was in the AJ fight, light and mobile to have a chance of surviving the Itama foot speed and onslaught. What did Moses come at? 242. What is he normally? He's bang on his. He was actually 230. Was he 235.5 against Dillian White? Damn. Well, anyway, he's a bit heavier in this one, but then I think he probably had a bit of a break from training as well with the bicep tear. Plus, with these heavyweights, 5 pounds fluctuation isn't anything crazy. It could be they've had a bit of food or water retention or whatever. So, anyway, yeah, I think that I'm a bit annoyed at Franklin for coming in that size. Basically, I'm even more confident in my rounds 1 to 3 pick based on the size he's got. it may increase his punch resistance a little bit, but not much. And I feel like, so yeah, that's all right, mate. You can go away. Yeah, watch the prediction vid if you haven't seen it, people. Basically, I've gone for Ituma knockout rounds 1 to 3. I know that, and look, based on the narrative around Franklin, you would say that you'd think at least a mid-round stoppage if you're going for that, or maybe later in the fight. But yeah, Josh, he was in the 250s. He was in the 250s for the Ditchko fight, and I think he's been for a couple, but it's his mobility hasn't looked as good in that weight. You said, I don't know who you're talking about there, but anyway, yeah, I've gone for rounds 1 to 3. The reason being, I think that everything he does defensively normally to survive, he doesn't have much offensive. Oh, you've gone for Moses, right? Yeah, he doesn't have the offensive ability, in my opinion, to really bother Moses unless he can catch him with like 1 or 2 shots, like big shots. And my concern is that I'm trying to find my train of thought here. What's this? Yeah. I think that everything he does defensively pairs with Moses really, really well. I think that the way he likes to parry shots, it won't work against Moses well at all. And if Moses draws him into parrying, that's a big problem. I don't think his guard is particularly tight anyway. I don't think his guard is the most solid. I think you can get shots through that guard, and also he exposes his body when he has his guard up. I don't think his feet are fast enough, especially at that weight, to stop Moses going through the phases and getting to him. Now, he might have a tremendous chin, a better chin than I think he does. I think he's got a good chin, but how good is it? It's interesting. Even if he's super negative, I just think that Moses will get to him. And I think he can do it quickly because I don't think Franklin has the tools to defend himself in there. So yeah, it's an interesting thought experiment, but I do think, and look, it might go a little bit longer, but I'm convinced he's going to knock him out, and I'm predicting and slightly putting my neck on the line that he'll do it in the first 3 rounds. Might go a little bit longer than his other fights, but I just think that Franklin's never been in there with anything like this. So that is why I'm predicting an early stoppage again for Moses Ituma, even though he should be doing it later, according to the narrative around Franklin being this tough guy and all this stuff. Yeah, with the Balogun weigh-in, did he have an injury or something before the fight? I don't know, but yeah, that's too heavy for him. I think I remember watching a training camp video with Moses Ituma, and I can't remember which one it was. I can't remember which fight it was in preparation for. It might have been the Mike Balogun fight. But he had this chart in his room, and he was, and like Usyk, he has a target weight that he goes for. It's in the 240s. So he's not trying to be big. He's not trying to. He's got a weight that he aims for peak performance. And when you're a boxer like him, that is so important. You've got to have your mobility and your speed. So yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. Oh, we've had another donation. Thank you very much from Stephen Pincus, £7. Thank you so much, bro. Much appreciated. That is huge. Oh, I can pull the... Why is the window capture not working? The hell? Oh, there we go. So yeah, thank you very much, Stephen. Much appreciated. We'll refresh that every now and again and see if we get any more coming in. But I think I'll try and put this up on the lives because obviously we want to try and get that money for the Japan trip, rather than having the... I don't really want people to donate on YouTube. Super chats are welcome, but ideally we could just send it all straight here. So yeah, anyway, that's my prediction for Moses Ituma. If you've got any questions on that one, get them in and we can come back to it. But I'm feeling pretty good about my prediction right now. I just don't see how Franklin bothers him. I've not seen anything from Franklin that makes me think he'll bother him. The only way would be if Moses just decided for some reason to have a war and scrap it out with him. That's the only way Franklin will get shots off and have a chance against him. Or he just lands a lucky sort of slinging overhand right, catches Moses with something on the inside. Maybe. I just think his speed is so outrageous. I mean, when you go back and watch the Dillian White fight and the speed that Moses closed the gap at in that fight. And also I'm predicting now that the key punch is that sort of pull back lead southpaw hook or jab, power jab. He has that southpaw stance. He pulls the shoulder back to pull your jab when he comes over the top with that shot. It's really effective, and I think it will get something going for him. I think that Franklin likes to parry too much. I think he's going to struggle with the southpaw stance. Even against Jerry Forrest, he found that hard. So yeah, Moses versus Hrgovic would be freaking amazing. But this is the thing. Like, people say they want him to have. This is the interesting comment from Josh. After he smashes Franklin, please give him someone with a pulse. So I don't necessarily think we need that yet. Look, the Mike Tyson thing is gone. The record is gone, so we don't need to worry about that anymore. My concern is just getting him out, multiple times this year. I want to see him out multiple times. They might think he doesn't need to get the experience, but I think he does. I think they need to find lower level versions of multiple styles and put him in with them. And I think that would be the best thing to do with him right now before he gets to a high level and there's maybe some deficiencies in his preparation. So, like, for me, if you could somehow get him in with a Chisora, that would be amazing, because Chisora's got that pressure style that not many do. It would be great to have him in there for that experience. I think it would be a hard fight, actually. Chisora's not got enough left, I really think, to sustain it throughout the fight, which is where he'd win it. But that's the sort of thing I'd be looking at. All the guys that can show him something. Who needs a risky fight, though, Josh, at this stage, I think? Still, I'd be looking at that sort of thing next year. Like, I think, for me, this year, look at some top 30 people. Because, like, it's not his fault he's got these really high rankings. I don't think that you need to pay attention to those rankings yet. I'd be looking at top 30 guys this year, and then next year I'd be like looking at the sort of likes of your Vianellos, your Hoonies, your guys that are sort of, within touching distance of world level, and then maybe at the end of next year you put him in there with a top 15 guy, top 10 guy maybe. Seeing as we're now like building him appropriately, I don't see the rush, and I think he needs experience in the ring, experience of putting his body through camps. So yeah, I think he's got time. I think he's got plenty of time. But at the same time, I think they've already seen the commercial potential in him. So I do think he'll be moved quickly. And they probably already think he's good enough. They're clearly not worried about his level. Vianello is a good fight, but it's a difficult fight though. And yeah, Steven saying Chisora already turned it down. I think it's just about putting the right number on the table with Chisora, isn't it? So yeah. Speaking of Derek Chisora, we should talk about that fight. I've obviously done a tactical breakdown for that one as well. All this amazing content is available on my channel. How many people have we got in the live right now? Just give this a quick refresh. So we got 80 of you in here right now, which is awesome. Great to have you all. Yeah, let's talk about Chisora against Wilder. So my feeling about that one, not made my prediction yet, not going to make it yet, but the main intrigue around that one for me is just the way that they've aged this so differently. Yeah, I've talked about Thurman Fundora. We can come back to it though. But get any questions that you have, we'll come around for it. Chisora Wilder. So not making my official prediction yet. I'll do that in fight week as I always do. But the interesting narrative here is the different ways that they've aged. I think that Chisora, whilst massively declined from where he was in his early years, is still being quite smart about the way he gets in the ring and does things. He's made it work for himself. His style has aged a lot better than I thought it would. I thought that with the way he does business, that he would really, really struggle to keep going this long, because he takes shots and he's hittable and he's very much a come forward guy. That's where he thrives. But actually, recently, he's counterpunched okay. He counterpunched quite well against Wallin. He counterpunched well against Joyce. They are slow fighters. It's not hard to counterpunch them. Chisora's never been a great counterpuncher, but he's good enough at doing it to hit those guys with counters. And then those guys are not good at fighting pressure fighters, clearly. Because Chisora had his moments, especially against Wallin. I mean, he ragdolled Wallin. It was crazy. Wallin is a weird heavyweight. He managed to beat, who was it he beat? Was it one of the cruiserweights that came up? Was it Bradis or one of them? So Wallin beat Yeah, Murat Gassiev, that was it. Who's obviously now holding a version of a WBA belt for beating Pulev. I don't know if that was a legitimate split decision or not, but he also beat Dominic Brazil by UD. Basically, he's got a couple of wins that make you go, okay, he's some kind of heavyweight. At the age he's at, 35, I would have thought that he still had enough to beat a Chisora at the point he was at. But no, he bashed him up. He hasn't got the mindset to fight a guy like Chisora, and that's the thing with Chisora's style. He is still a challenge, even though he's got so little left at what he does. I think that the converse nature of this is that Wilder looks terrified when guys pressure him now. He looks so uncomfortable. He hasn't got that back foot power that he used to have in the same way. I mean, I think it might still be there. There is some power still on the back foot, but he's so uncomfortable now that he can't set his feet properly. And people aren't scared of walking him down anymore. That said, Zhang and Parker, the two guys who bashed him up, have much better defense than Chisora. Chisora is much more hittable than those two. And there was a moment in round 5 against Zhang where Wilder did start letting his hands go. Zhang timed him with a beautiful counter, but he was hitting him with some right hands. They're not the same right hands as they once were, because before they had this ridiculous power to them, they had athleticism to them. I think that his upper body speed and whatever he had in that part of his body is still there, but it's the legs that are gone. So my feeling is that he is going to really struggle to land that right hand with the right level of efficacy against anybody. But I think if he's going to do it against anyone, he'll do it against Chisora. And that's where I'm sort of like weighing up this pick. But at the minute, I think he'll absolutely brick himself when Chisora walks him down. And Chisora will get to him and probably knock him out, because Chisora is actually also, in my opinion, quite a bit better than Zhang and Parker on the inside. He's a classic inside fighter. He loves it in there. So, yeah, I could just see him walking him down and bashing him up. But you never know. Wilder might land something. Big up Liam Goff in the chat. Salute to you as well, mate. Hope you're doing very well. I wonder what your thoughts are for... I'm guessing you've picked... What? Yeah, that's a good question for you. What round... You'll have picked a Talma, but what round are you going for stoppage, and what round are you going for a Talma to stop him in, Liam, is my question to you. So yeah, that's the Wilder-Chisora matchup. Josh has got Chisora mid-round stoppage. One thing I will say is, if Wilder can survive the first few rounds, the first 6 rounds, there will come a point where Chisora slows down and goes on the back foot and hits the ropes. That's when you might see Wilder get some confidence and land some right hands. So yeah, that'll be interesting. But it's a great match. You know, like, that's the kind of matchmaking you want to see with these older guys. You want to see, like, diminished guys going in there together. Big up David. Henry, please don't tell me that you give Dave Allen any chance, that you don't give Dave Allen any chance against Hrgovic. Please don't tell me that you don't give Dave Allen any chance against Hrgovic. So you want me to say I give Dave Allen a chance against Hrgovic? I think that's what you're saying. I don't see how Dave Allen wins the fight, is my answer to your question. Yeah, I've got you. The double negative, mate, confused me. I understand. So yeah. Anyway, that's my Wilder-Chisora thoughts right now. Where do I think Wilder goes next if he wins? Probably fights Anthony Joshua. I would imagine that's what they would try and do. It's the last chance saloon to make that fight. If he can beat Chisora, I think that's what will happen. Or Usyk, because Usyk said he wanted it, and it would be maybe enough of a win to put him back into that sort of situation. Not that I think that should happen. I'm just saying that's probably what they'd try and do. If I think we'll find out if Wilder has any lightning left in the right hand. Yeah, but I think the issue with Wilder as well is he used to punch with like that big swing, and he right hand, left hook, warm. Doesn't do that anymore. So, yeah, I also think Joshua would smoke Wilder, AM. But, yeah. All right, the next one that we will discuss is the next fight in the heavyweight season, which is... Oh, it'd be Wardley Dubois after that one, is it? Yeah. Oh, wait, I've got the heavyweight season graphic. Let me see. Let's have a look here. And we should say that this is all on DAZN. It's absolutely incredible. Look at that. I mean, you have to say right now, guys, I've got a link in the description for DAZN. If you haven't got it already, they've just signed Golden Boy back up to a deal. They've signed Top Rank. They've got Matchroom. They've got Queensberry. It's absolutely incredible. MF Pro, which is actually what I don't care about, Misfits, but they've got, professional fights on there. They've got this Chisora Wilder fight. So this is the lineup that's coming up. It looks great. There's going to be more coming because they've got all these promoters now. Genuinely, you guys know me. I don't bollocks you. DAZN is the place to be right now. If you're a fighter, I understand that like Zuffa's appealing in some ways, but every promoter is working together right now. If you want to achieve stuff in your career, there's no reason not to sign one of those promoters and be on DAZN. So, and as a viewer, there's not many fights you're going to miss out on, really. So I think it's very exciting. I can't see Zuffa changing that much that quickly. So yeah. Right now, nearly everything you could want to watch in boxing is on DAZN. So I'm really excited that we've got that. I'm delighted that I have some kind of relationship with them because I love it when someone I'm working with does good things. I have to sit here and like not talk rubbish about them. Or sorry, I have to sit here and like talk rubbish about them because I will do that. But they're doing a great job. So yeah, it's exciting. Anyway, we were just talking about this. So we've covered Ituma Franklin. We've covered Chisora Wilder. Wardley Dubois. It's the best fight. It's the fight I'm most excited about in the calendar right now, out of any of them. I'm so excited about it. Of course, there's Fury Makhmudov as well, which we can mention. But it's such an inconsequential fight for me. I'm just sort of like, yeah, I guess. Wardley Dubois is a fight on another level. It's so tough to pick. I'm constantly thinking about it. I'm constantly going back and forth on what I think will happen. And it's just so interesting. It's so interesting. It's going to be unbelievably explosive. I'm surprised it's not bigger than it is. Let's give the donations a refresh. Guys, if you do want to donate to the Japanese doc, no, it's still on the same amount. If anyone wants to donate to this stream, then please do it via the Japanese. Even if you can just send £1, any amount of money, it means a lot. Or if you can share the fundraiser, that also means a lot. With people that might want to donate. As I say, we're nearly halfway. We are just over a month out from the fight. Look, even if we don't hit the full amount, I'm still going to try and go, but like we're quite a way off at the minute. So yeah, anyway, David said his problem with DAZN is the average non-boxing fan doesn't have DAZN. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And that's where their shoulder content's got to be really, really good. The documentary stuff, the bits they do on socials, it's just got to be elite. But you're right. It's difficult. It is difficult for people to see the boxing if it's not going to be elsewhere. It almost makes you wonder if like it'd be worth DAZN doing like some kind of partnership with a mainstream broadcaster to show some of their undercards or something. I don't know. But anyway, the Wardley Dubois fight's incredible. I can't predict it yet. I need to study it fully. And even when I make my prediction, it will be... when I always say to you guys when I predict it's a best guess, that really will be a best guess because they can both knock each other out. And there's different ways they're going to... They operate in different ways. It will be who shows up on the night. It could even be who shows up in a moment. Like that's the reality of it. Mindset-wise, it's easy to say that Wardley's got the edge there. I think that Dubois has got the foot speed edge. And in my mind right now, my early thinking is you're basically weighing up whether or not Dubois' straight line speed is too much for Wardley's ability to counterpunch. And whether or not when Dubois does get hit, because I think he will, he is able to ride that out. We have seen him ride out getting hit before. He did it against Hrgovic very, very well. But Wardley's a different level of puncher. So, yeah, it's tough. It's very, very tough. But get your questions in, guys, on that one as well, if you have any. And as I say, consider donating to the Japanese doc. If you want to support the stream, that's the thing to do. Send the money to that. It's better for you guys as well. You get a direct return on your money for this. It's going to be sick. I'm going to do my best to make something unbloody believable. David thinks DAZN needs to put their money into buying Premier League rights. Yeah, I mean, that would definitely help, wouldn't it? But I think the Premier League needs to just do an app. If I was the Premier League, I would just do my own streaming app. It makes so much sense. Oh, you want my fight? Oh, yeah, we'll go back on the Fundora fight if you want. Yeah, my thoughts on it are that I've said this earlier, but I'll say it again. Technically and tactically, I like Thurman. I do. I think Thurman has what it takes to beat a Fundora. I think Fundora's guard isn't great. I think he's quite loose with his work. He does operate with a bit more range now, but I don't think his feet are as good as Thurman's. And yeah, I think that what this comes down to for me is really, it's more a stylistic thing versus what you've got left physically and size in general, because Thurman was never a 154 boxer. I know his last fight was at 154 against Jarvis, but he's not. But can he compete with Fundora at 54? Well, Fundora, I think he is pretty weight drained at 54. I mean, he's so big. Even though he's not muscular, he's like a skeleton in there. It's kind of terrifying to look at, really. And if I was him, I'd be looking to move up soon. And that's what makes me think there's a chance for Thurman. But everything else says that Fundora should really win the fight. He's younger, he's fresher. He always throws a lot of shots. You've got to go through fire to land on him. And even Keith Thurman will have to do that. Even though if Keith Thurman's using his good lateral movement, finding the angles for entry, it's going to be tough. But at the same time, all the holes that Fundora has, I think that Thurman can find them. I think he can land on him. I think he punches bloody hard, Thurman, still, even though he's older now. But it's another year out since that Jarvis fight. So if it was a year ago, immediately after Jarvis, I might have gone for Thurman. And even now, I kind of want to go for Thurman. But I think I have to say that it would be against my better thinking to not pick Fundora. That's my top level thoughts. Have I done my same level of studying on it as I normally do? No. But looking at the styles, I think that Thurman's nice, but Fundora should be too fresh for him. That's how I feel. Especially if Fundora makes it a war. But Thurman's always got that one time somewhere in there. So yeah, maybe he can land something significant. X-Man thinks Thurman's going to get smoked. Why does Fundora have that Guna moustache? Well, the better question is, why does Fundora have the suit from Napoleon Dynamite? Have you seen this? The wet from the face off, that brown suit. Absolutely unbelievable. Stunning. A follow-up question. What are your thoughts on Fundora? Because I see a lot of people hyping him, but I personally don't see it. Well, I've just kind of given you my thoughts. I think he's got a lot of holes. I think he probably needs to move up soon. But he's a difficult proposition for anyone because he is so long. Yeah. Dwayne says, really, Thurman? I think Fundora will fight from distance. No, I'm not picking Thurman. I'm picking Fundora. But even if Fundora fights from distance, I think Thurman's got better feet than him. I think Thurman will find his moments. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Dave doesn't like how Fundora's been talking recently. He basically admitted to not caring about his legacy and only wanting to fight who PBC want him to fight. I mean, it's a safe place to be, isn't it, to say stuff like that? I think he gets cleaned out by a lot of guys at 54. That's probably why he's saying that. I mean, look, he nearly got knocked out by Tim Tszyu the first time. The second time, even the second time where Tim Tszyu's confidence was shot to pieces and Fundora won it clearly, but Tszyu had a moment still. I think he's very hittable. I think he's very, very hittable. And I don't think he holds the shots that well when you get him clean, as Mendoza showed us. So, yeah. Indeed, Michael. Oh, big up, mate. Your name is it Wojciech? I can't remember your name, bro. But I know who you are. I think VBSC, that's how I always know you. But I've spoke to you before. I remember we spoke once. Oh, I think Fundora is a pound-for-pound star and a great fighter as long as we're talking about Gabriella. Fair enough. Michael says, I love that DAZN have gone super active. Brilliant 2026 lineup. Zuffa has made them step up. Yeah, and that's why Wojciech, I did get it right. Hell yeah. And that's the thing. That's why market competition is good. DAZN know they need to reply to the Zuffa threat, and it's great to see. Do I think Dubois will have the heart to continue if he gets clipped? With Usyk, I think he knew he couldn't do much after getting put down. He will know he can get to Wardley. Yeah, I mean he'll be confident until Wardley lands something on him. The question is, can Wardley find that shot? Because Dubois will rush him. He'll make it very difficult. He'll use his jab. He'll bounce in and out. He'll look to use the same sort of foot speed that Hooney used. And look, he's not as mobile as Hooney, but Dubois in patches can be. He's very bouncy in moments, and he gets going in and out. And the difference is when he's hitting you, it's a different proposition from when Hooney's hitting you. But Wardley's tough as hell. 147 doesn't think Wardley's ever faced a true puncher. I think that's fair. I think that's fair, but I also think that Wardley's one of the biggest puncher that Dubois has faced, and I think that Wardley has got some good counter-punching ability, and I think that, yeah, I think that Wardley's got, look at it this way, right? It still took Dubois several rounds to clean out AJ, even though he hit him so many times. And Wardley's got a much better chin than AJ. He's much tougher than AJ. And AJ in that fight was holding his feet and trying to counter out of nowhere. And even with that, it was possible for AJ to go rounds. So that makes me I look at that and I think, yeah, Dubois rushed him. Yeah, Dubois bashed him up in the end. And yeah, he landed that beautiful counter shot when AJ was pressing it. But I think Wardley will be smarter. I think Wardley's much better under pressure than AJ is, and I think he's got a lot more left in the tank. That fight makes me think a bit differently about it, to be honest. Yeah. And even in like the Hrgovic fight, he was piecing up Dubois, and it was really that Dubois got so rough with Hrgovic, he was able to win that fight. And it was stopped on cuts, don't forget. He didn't knock Hrgovic out. It was stopped on cuts. And it should have been a count back, because it should have been for accidental headbutts. Whether they were accidental or not is also up for debate. But those cuts were caused by headbutts, not by punches. That's for damn sure as well. So, yes, I agree with David that Wardley is a bit of an overachiever. But also, I think he's very effective at what he does. And I'm not convinced that Dubois is as elite as people say. But also, at the same time, I'd probably pick him against everybody else. That's the crazy thing. Usyk and Wardley are the two fights at heavyweight that I think are really dangerous for him because of the counter-punching ability. Everybody else, I'm sort of a bit like, yeah, I think he'd probably steamroll them. So yeah, it's crazy. And he still may steamroll Wardley. I need to sit and think about this. I'm not saying I'm picking Wardley because I also think that I need to go and rewatch Wardley Parker. But that's the other thing with Parker is that I always thought he'd be a harder fight for Wardley because of the lateral movement and the boxing ability. Whereas, yeah, Dubois will come to him. So, I don't know. I need to have a think about it. That's the other thing. You're right about that, David. You think Davison will make Wardley do the exact same thing he tries to do with Joshua. And that's fair. Like, Wardley fights, he holds his feet, he waits for you to come to him, he has low hands, he tries to time you. It's so true, and I think that Dubois does well against guys like that. So, Dubois is there to be hit, but tough. Very tough. Casual expert thinks neither are elite. They're both top 10 heavyweights. You know, how many heavyweights are actually better than them is a better question. So I would consider them both to be top level heavyweights. Quick mention on the two lesser heavyweight fights, I'd say, the Fury Makhmudov and the Usyk Verhoeven. It's an interesting couple of fights because they're two big names, but the fights don't mean a huge amount. You know, Usyk will absolutely destroy Verhoeven whenever he chooses to do so. He might even carry him for a few rounds. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. The spectacle will be incredible. I love watching Usyk fight, so in that sense, I'm pleased he's out, but I don't know what he's going to do the rest of his career. He might even just see how he gets through this camp. I'm wondering if he's having camp issues in his training camp now that has made him pick this, because it's easy. It's an easy win for, I'm guessing he's getting paid a fair amount. So, low risk. And then, but there's not much else to say about it. We've not seen much of him box. I don't think having Peter Fury in his corner is going to make any difference. I just don't think he's anywhere near beating Usyk level. David says Verhoeven's known for getting drops in every big fight he has. I didn't know that. So I'll study his kickboxing fights and stuff before that one. But yeah, I'm not convinced that he has any ability in boxing. So yeah. And then regards Fury Makhmudov, people are trying to say that this is some kind of contest. Any version of Fury batters Makhmudov. He's so easy to hit. His feet are so slow. The only thing I could see him potentially doing is some kind of catch and throw, like what happened in that fight against what's his name, Ngannou. But I need to go and study if he has ever used a catch and throw. I don't remember. So yeah, I don't see that fight being hard for Fury at all. I really don't. But I need to study it properly, and I will. I was meant to do that this week, but I ran out of time. Realistically, based on my timings and my travels and stuff, I should actually be making that next week. So yeah, but people think Fury's washed. I don't know why people think Fury's washed. What are we basing that on? He's not as good as he was, but he still competed with Usyk for 24 rounds. And Usyk's the best in the world. Look what he just did to Dubois, or has been the best in the world. It would make sense that Fury would be washed by now because he's been out of the ring. But the Fury that fought Usyk twice still should be good enough to beat most guys, you would think. So he might be washed, but what are we basing that on is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. So yeah. But guys, it's been an hour. It's been a good chat. Please do consider, the big thing you can do for me to help support the channel right now is support this Japanese documentary fund. Even if you can just send £1, any amount, you know, how many people are in here right now? We've got 84 people. So, you know, if all of you were able to donate a tenner, that's us a long way towards our number. And now I know that's not realistic. I'm just saying that it doesn't need to be a big donation for it to mean a lot to me. And yeah, I really appreciate any support you can give. We're not there at the number yet. We're not far out. I really want to hit it. Oh, the page says it wants 5. I didn't know that. No, Lero, don't donate if you're broke. I don't want people that haven't got money donating. That's not what I'm asking for. I didn't know you had to do a minimum of 5. Okay, so it turns out you got to do a minimum of 5. If you're donated 5, sorry about that. But yeah, guys, if you could consider donating, I'd really, really appreciate it. If you've got the money. I can't be clearer. Do not donate if you don't have the money. I don't want people giving me money they don't have, so don't do that. But if you have the money, if you're able to spare something to get us out there, then that'd be awesome. And I feel like I'm going to make something unreal. And yeah, I may try and get a sponsor on board if we haven't hit the number. That might be what I have to do. We'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, I haven't studied Ezra against Willie Hutchison, so I don't know. But I'll enjoy covering it. Lives tomorrow, just look, final thing, I'll be going live for Ituma against Franklin, and I'll most likely go live for Thurman against Fundora as well. But guys, thanks so much for being on this stream. It's been a good little chat. And yeah, as I say, if you can consider donating to this mother, where is it? This mother. Let me just see what number we're on right now to conclude the stream. 2,246. Hell yeah, someone's donated a $5. So 2,251. If you would consider donating, I'd really appreciate it. And fingers crossed, we can get that documentary happening. But I'll catch you guys for the stream later. See ya.